the sun is blinding you, there
Yeah.
is no way anyone could see that coming down. And if that hits you, it could kill you.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for coming back. Another episode of Foul Ball Safety Now Talks. I'm Jordan Scott. I'm with my co-host, Brianna Ludwig. I'm going to bring on Brianna in a short minute. First things first, I want to get to the news. And then after we bring on Brianna, Brianna will introduce our guest for the day. People tuning in for the first time will understand that we turn the tables where our guests are bringing more questions to us for the majority of the recording. So we're looking forward to that. There was some news, alarming news that I saw over the weekend, a couple of days back in baseball. Two incidences of balls going into the seats where both incidents could have been prevented. One was an overthrow of a ball from the second baseman who was trying to turn a double play and threw it over the first baseman's head and it went into the seats. Those are the words of the announcer. The ball just went into the seats. So these people who play the game throw it very hard, especially when they're trying to get a runner out. They're throwing the hardest they can possibly throw. And if you happen to been in those seats at that time, it either went between two people or it hit somebody. That's just basically how it goes. And why are these close calls part of the game? Another situation occurred where a dad was holding a child and the ball came over the into the seats in the foul ball territory, and the man actually caught the ball with one hand while holding his baby. And I think many of the people who have heard this before, have seen this before, may associate with this as fun and good times. And what happened after they showed it on replay, you heard the announcers in the booth describing more or less the movement of the dad, the way he exercised moving the child to the side, almost like in coordination of defending his child, which obviously he made the right moves because it all worked out okay. But why are these dads in a position to be defending their infant children from a dangerous foul ball? You know, luckily for him, it might have been the exact launch angle, and he was able to catch it that time. Let's say it was not, which many times it's not. Exhibit A, one in Foul Ball Safety Now demonstrates just how many balls go into sections at certain speeds, so a percentage of them may go in a little easier than not. But why are these dads and kids potentially part of percentages on whether they made it out okay? So you get the announcers giving like the color and the description, the dad doing a coordination and turning his body a little this way or that way. And the mom at home who's going to be upset once she sees that dad is dangling child trying to catch a foul ball. All these kind of things which make it possibly appealing to the next dad or a mom that wants to bring their kid to the game and go through the same experience because everyone came out okay that time. But why are they normalizing this, and why are the telecasters making this into something like a thing instead of like the more candid response is like, "There's no way ever would I ever put my kid in that situation. Man, it could have been worse." And I think most people would react to that if they got the true picture. And you'll start getting more of the true picture when you visit the exhibits and get a sense of just how many balls go into areas. Some of them come in soft and high, some of them come in very hard and fast. And I really don't know, and I don't wanna justify this experience as, well, maybe it was on the softer side and the higher side and he had time. We know of situations where it came in very fast and very hard, and the announcers shouldn't be glorifying this and making this into, "This is a good time and a great experience for all." So, those are the 2 news flashes, Yankees versus Red Sox over the weekend, Mets versus the Rangers. We have them time stamped. If anyone's interested, you can figure it out and find me at Foul Ball Safety Now. I'm happy to get you those clips. Well, without further ado, everyone should follow Foul Ball Safety Now and all the work that we've done over the summer and all the investigations we have going on. Let me bring on Brianna Ludwig, and she'll bring on our guest. Brianna, how are you?
Doing great, Jordan. Very honored to be here today and take part in this important discussion. Excited to introduce Robin Huffman. She is a model, an actress, and a cardiac nurse practitioner. Robin, how are you today?
Wonderful, Miss Brianna, and thank you guys for having me as a guest on your podcast. This was an exciting thing for me to be a part of, as I've always gone to America's Game and watched and been a part of this, and have never really thought of the dangers until I really started researching and listening to some of your podcasts.
We appreciate that, Robin. So it's really nice to have you on. I know you bring a lot of experience, and I'm sure you've had some time to study the issue from the website. Happy to, take on your question and your questions, and we're looking forward to a great conversation.
Thank you, Jordan. One of the things that have been bothering me, even as a person who goes to these games, how am I supposed to know I'm safe? Because I like to sit behind the batter. That's where the action is. I've sit behind these nets. I've seen these balls go up. I mean, how am I supposed to know as a spectator that I'm safe?
Unfortunately, there's no reassurances that the management or the teams can provide you at this very time. It should have been in place, in my opinion, a long time ago. Um, I think baseball's had every opportunity to present over the winter months exactly what the fans can face every spring and summer based on previous years. How many foul balls have gone into seats? How many make direct impact? They haven't disclosed any of that to us. And most fans just never learned about the proper place to sit. There's no oversight, there's no agencies looking over the business as usual in baseball. So they are able to open up their doors and allow people to come in. Some people may be under some more illusion that they're safe because of some nets. Does not mean that's the case. All you see at games now are signs and potentially announcements before the game that tells you to be careful. But the issue is, Robin, why aren't they informing us before we go to the game to make an informed decision instead of till we get there? Then I think families would have had more information at their disposal and could have made an informed decision. None of this has ever been part of the equation, Robin.
That's really sad, Jordan and Brianna, because I recently went to a Pelicans game here in Myrtle Beach, which is not pro, but they
Mhm.
are the pro feeders. So they feed into the
Yes.
pro, the semi pros. And of course, we sit behind, kind of semi behind the batters. And the
Mhm.
foul balls that went up and came down were horrendous. There was a net. We even had a ball come back and go through the netting.
Huh,
Jordan, I have never seen that.
huh.
And it was, there must have been 8, 10, 12 of them. It was like raining baseballs. And these balls, these guys are throwing them 90 to 100 mile an hour, and it's coming at you like a missile, and you don't know
Mhm.
where they're going.
Yeah.
I was afraid. I had never been afraid at a baseball game until then. Any suggestions? Like, seriously.
Yeah. So you make an observation that the balls are they're either flying over the net. About a ball going through the net, we learned of a situation a few weeks back. A team that I root for, the New York Mets, Juan Soto hit a ball and it actually went and made a hole in the net. And somebody posted a picture of it, and I did write a letter to the New York Mets, but in most cases, it's the ball that either goes over the net or there's no net, or the ball flies outside the ballpark, which you may have noticed as well. And on average, there's about 53 foul balls per game on the professional level, or at least in the major league. So you probably experience maybe close to, well, 25 to 50 foul balls that either came into the seats or left the ballpark altogether because they're smaller ballparks. Did you notice any balls flying outside of the ballpark as well, over the sides?
Yes, Jordan, they went up and over, and
Yeah,
like I
yeah,
said, I had never seen that, and you could hear them peppering down on the roof behind us, and
yeah,
it's like the sun is blinding you. There
yeah,
is no way anyone could see that coming down, and if that hits you,
yeah,
if it hits you in the skull, the brain,
yeah.
anywhere, it could kill you, take you out, do severe injury. Like I said, I had never seen that,
Mm,
that bad.
mm,
And the net did not come up as high as some of the pro games I had seen.
mhm.
So my concern and question for you guys, and I don't really
Sure.
know how to do this, are there regulations for like the semi-pro versus the pro versus the height versus how far it comes over?
We haven't found any transparency or any rationale on whatever upgrades have been done over the last few years. Upgrades and improvements are nice, but are they solutions? They're not. Until they can prove it, they're not. So, there may be percentages less chances, but people really aren't interested in that. Nobody's going to marginalize the safety over their kids, whether it's X amount percent safer or not, or the chances are less. People want it straightforward information. Can you give it to them? Balls are also flying outside the ballpark, and we know of a situation in Modesto, California. People can see the website Foul Ball Safety Now, and they'll click on the tab. It says Unknown Modesto. And we got contacted by an attorney a few months ago. A woman in July of 23 was standing outside the ballpark in Modesto, California, and she had maybe a traumatic brain injury. She can't work anymore. And that's because one of those balls, it did not hit the pavement. It did not hit the window of the car and break the window. This time it hit the person's head. I'm wondering why, as a society, we would allow in a 3-hour period 10 or 15 balls raining down to who knows where. And I think that's unacceptable. And it's unfortunate that this is the status quo. And I'm here to try to put information on the table for all of us to stare at it. Maybe the right agencies will look at it finally and say it's better late than never that we're getting this memo about this situation. They should have gotten it years ago, in my opinion, Robin.
Jordan, I agree with you. I grew up playing softball, not baseball, but my
Right.
son grew up playing baseball as well, and we really didn't even have nets then. But, I know that they put the nets over the back, and that's where a lot of foul balls go. But Jordan, there's a lot of foul balls, line drives on the
Yeah,
other side of third base, on the other side of first base. Those balls are moving. I
I
mean,
know.
and you know it as well as I do. So I don't know what it's going to take to wake up this association and
Mhm,
realize that this is really dangerous. And I know there's not one baseball player that would really want to hurt somebody. I know that. And
mhm.
I think they're as concerned as well. So, I mean, is it going to take a petition? I
Yeah.
think your podcast is amazing and what you're doing. Is it going to take a lot of us just jumping up and down and screaming
Mhm,
to make something happen? I
mhm,
even thought of something, and I know people would probably, really raise Cain about it. What if they
mhm,
had like that clear plastic
mhm.
stuff that something doesn't penetrate it all the way up over, that came to the top of the netting behind the batter's cave. When every ball came down, it would hit that and roll off the side. I don't know. It was
But
just a thought.
yeah, no, there's some ballparks, or at least I remember, behind
Yeah.
home plate, then it would hit the top of the net and then it'd roll back onto the field nice and easily. Now their balls are raining up and they're coming up and they're coming down, all parts of the ballpark, on the lower level, maybe behind home plate in some places. At the end of the day, it's the 3 of us talking right now, and we are trying to make some noise or bring attention that this issue is long overdue to have outside agencies or independent sources looking how business is being conducted. But it's unsatisfactory. It's been an F. It'll remain an F until there's a conversation that deals with all of the issues. It's all about informing everyone about what they can expect from the experience. And if that means there's risk, well, then so be it. The agency should have learned about this years and years and years and years ago. They haven't gotten the memo. And sorry, it's retroactive, but you've been doing business, knowingly doing business incorrectly. You know that injuries are part of the game. There's enough reports, not just by me and Brendan. I've been working with Brendan now for over 6 years. He's an investigative journalist. We've interviewed more than 70 people. We know about the victims. They don't have the reconciliation. And then, unfortunately, there's none that's coming anytime from baseball. We have to try to make that happen. These people deserve some closure. And there's no regulation. And doing business today, the way they're doing it without any oversight at all. I don't want to hear they have a committee until you disclose who these people are and why they determined the nets should be extended to here. Was it high enough? And no, it wasn't, because we know of people that are still blinded and concussed at major league ballparks. Where you are, I'm not sure who the parent company is, but there's 30 major league teams, and then there's 169 other professional teams like Myrtle Beach. And those situations, those 169 ballparks clearly are all smaller, intimate. Balls fly out over the sides and hit pavements and hit windows, and unfortunately, occasionally can hit a head. And why is this business as usual? Let's have a conversation about this and finally get this message spread, and we can talk about it later. We're putting it out there now. Let's get people above our pay grade to pay attention to this. Long overdue.
The lack of transparency is just despicable. I mean, the day after that woman was struck in Modesto, did they tell people to stay off the sidewalk? Did they tell people to arrive later after batting practice was over? No. Somebody can be seriously injured, and the very next day, someone will sit in that seat. There's no other business that operates that way and keeps allowing people to come back, whereas somebody was just life altering injury the day before.
Brianna, I totally agree with you. There's such a total disregard for safety and what's going on, especially when you guys were talking about the young child. Because I still, at the games that I've gone to, you see the young children come in with their gloves, with their mother or father or whoever they're with, and they're back there and they want to try to catch these balls. And it doesn't seem like they're well informed of the danger they're in, but it's like they keep pushing this and pushing this. It's like whatever sells a ticket. Let's give a
Mhm.
2 for 1 beer, or let's sell 2 hot dogs for $5, whatever drags these people in, or let's have taco night on Tuesday and sell $5 beers, and let's push these tickets, and they pack it in there, and nobody's thinking about anything other than getting their 2 or 3 beers and their couple of hot dogs and sitting down and watching America's game, and nobody thinks about what they're doing. I literally just watched it not even a month ago.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely market the sport towards children for sure. And the children, of course, want to go to the games. And unfortunately, baseball is not taking a look at it like they should. And what an outside agency would say, like if you want to break not necessarily the myth, kids really are looking forward to catching a foul ball. How do we take the pedal off the gas and slow down their enthusiasm? You better have a good alternative for the kids. So you can certainly do many things, and I could throw out 3 or 4 suggestions right now. Since I said that, you can certainly have retractable nets for sure, so you could continue the autographs before and after the game. You could allow kids to have soft toss catches with some of the Myrtle Beach players before the game. Maybe 50 kids out of or 100 kids, could all have an opportunity to throw a ball with a baseball player for 5 minutes. That would be a really exciting experience. Wow. As if I was a little kid at 10 or 11, that would be the most amazing experience. You could do those type of things. And you could finally deal in reality and say, listen, if we don't have all the changers now, we have to market our sport, in certain sections as 18 and only, 18 and above. If you're willing to take this dangerous line drive to the neck, you can. But you need to put it out there similar like running with the bulls in Spain. Everyone knows there's obvious danger. Major League Baseball and all of the partner leagues and all of the major league affiliates need to be realistic about what's happening on the day-to-day experience. So if the threat to the ball to the neck remains, please tell the general public the threat of the ball to the neck remains. And you can come, but you can't bring the little guys. You have to be 18 and old to run with bulls in Spain. You should be 18 and older if you consent to taking a line drive to the neck. That's my opinion.
Oh, I like that, what you said, Jordan, and I like what you talked about with the children. Me, I just went to a Yankees not Yankees, I went to see the
Sure.
Braves, I'm sorry, I went on off on
Uh-huh.
the wrong thing, and huge, big thing, and, of course, I wanted a Braves ball. I went
Uh-huh.
into one of their stores and bought one and took
Right.
it down, and one of the players signed it for me. So what an awesome thing for the children to do, and why not, like you said, let's make a safe area for the children under a certain age to sit, even if it
Mhm.
has to be behind a plastic wall.
It has to
I
be
I think
foolproof.
that's
We
an
can do it. Do it.
amazing
Could be a
idea.
foolproof experience. How
I
about
love
that?
it.
I can't take away the slip and fall experience because anything could happen in a 3-hour community, but we certainly could make every attempt to saying, "This is transparent, Brianna," because Brianna has a child, and Brianna's made it
Yes.
clear that her kid is not coming to the game until MLB and professional baseball says something, does something, or she's not negotiating anything right now.
And I hate that. I hate that children can't experience this, but someone really needs to get off the stick and let's make it
Mhm,
safe for these children to go and experience
mhm.
this and take them out of harm's way before somebody,
Mm.
what's it going to take?
What is it
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
take? Because people have
yeah.
already died and it wasn't enough, so it's sickening.
It's unfortunately this record the day of reckoning hasn't come yet for MLB. I don't say that laughingly. I mean
Ooh.
it. Day of reckoning needs to come. Turn back the clock. All the people that have been injured, all the people that escaped injury, they wanna know that their neighbor was hurt the day before or the day after, and we're gonna deliver them that news, and they may look at their memories a little differently and saying, "We had no idea we dodged a bullet. We thought this experience all these times were safe. And now I learned that somebody in my same seat was seriously injured or worse." So we want to deliver Karen, a lady who I worked with a while on some of my publishing endeavors, said, "We are creating an epiphany of outrage. Once families realize that maybe it could have been them, they may think of their memories a little differently." Unfortunately, I have to go do that. I have to put history in its place. And if it's more mud on the face that's exposed, that's just the way it goes. That's what we do. We're trying to create conversations. We want reconciliation. We want regulation. And people that have been there and injured, people that have been there and thought they were having a good time without hidden dangers, now they're going to learn a little differently. They're going to realize that there were a lot of data. There's a lot of data for people to find out at the NBC study, which was a very interesting study from 2012 to 2019, implied how many people reported to first aid in those 7, 8 years. And also, Brendan and I have been collecting research of children who've been seriously hit by foul balls. There's a lot of data there. We've interviewed some of these children, 2 girls by the name of Alexis. One was 4, one was 10. The 4-year-old unfortunately got much seriously injured than the 10-year-old, but both of them spoke with us. The 4-year-old repeatedly spoke with us on these virtual press conferences that we had. She was very courageous. She's probably about 18 now. First game, 4 years old, she has post-neurological issues, right? You get hit in the head, and unfortunately, she's got some issues as a teenager. The other girl, Alexis, fine. She was standing online at a game, standing online for a snack in the concourse, and she gets hit in the head, and it could have been worse. It could have been next to her temple, her eye, and she was fine. She even wrote a paper about her experience as a 10-year-old for entering college. She told us that she used that. It was maybe 6 or 7 years after she got hit as a little girl. Just a lot of stories that we know of, and we're really here. We're in healthy aggression at Foul Ball Safety Now, and it's really exciting to bring new guests on all the time.
I love the work that you're doing. The thing I would like is to see this go on more of a broader spectrum, like, to get it out there, like,
Mhm.
bigger. Like,
I
even if it
appreciate that.
came if it came on the news or if it came on, some bigger platforms. Not that this one's not okay, but I would like to see
Mhm.
more people really see what you guys are trying to do. That's what I would like to see to happen.
We appreciate that. A couple of guests that have come on wanted to know what they can do, and I would say if you're in the Myrtle Beach area or wherever these folks were from, that take a look at your own situation, have an honest discussion. What's happening inside? What's happening outside? Who's accountable? Do we really know enough? Unfortunately, I think you're going to arrive at the answer no, but at least you can do something locally. And I'm going to be around to be supportive any way I can and to get in conversations with you or anyone else who wants to address what's happening in Myrtle Beach or anywhere else. So we can do that. Maybe it starts locally. Certainly, we have so much information. The 6 years I've been with Brendan, Brianna's been with me for a year. She's been great. Research, communications. Brendan, the investigative journalist, interviews that we've done together. And we're just, massive files. We're just gonna, eventually this will be shared in literary in the world of publishing, or eventually this may be put into some documentary story about what you may have missed over the last 55 years, ever since a 14-year-old boy died at Dodger Stadium. We've interviewed bat boys from Dodger Stadium, LA Dodger bat boys. They didn't even know about the 14-year-old boy who died in 1970. It's not something that gets out, even with all this world of information. A lot of people don't know about Mrs. Goldblum, the woman who died at Dodger Stadium in 2018. There's only been a few deaths in professional baseball that we know of since 1970. Two of them happen to have been in Dodger Stadium. Mrs. Goldblum wasn't down the lines or above the dugout. She was actually in the loge section, Robin, a little bit above the netting behind home plate where there was no netting. The ball went over the nets at 93 miles per hour, and she unfortunately got hit. So, just to be part of this is my passion, always was baseball. And watching news in 2019, I realized a lot more needed to be done. And we've been at it and we'll keep going. And this is exciting.
Yeah, Robin, as a nurse, I know you've seen firsthand the toll that a medical emergency can take on not just the person who was injured, but also their families. So, kind of walk us through that. What kind of toll can getting injured at a game take on someone and their family, whether it's through the medical bills, the rehabilitation, the physical, emotional pain? Walk us through that.
Well, the injury itself, I think, a lot of people, family included, depending on their age or whatever, the family is basically in shock. They feel remorse and sorrow for, they feel like they put their family in danger or their family member. The medical bills can be extensive. If there's any severe injuries, are they long term? Is it lifelong? Are they going to lose a limb? Are they going to lose their eyesight? I mean, even, if someone got hit in a certain area like the throat, the nose, or whatever, I mean, that person could have died with this injury. A simple baseball game, like what you're talking about, can turn in to a life changing injury, a life changing moment. To those things you don't even think about. Like I said, I rode horses all my life. I've been thrown, bucked off, drug. I got thrown once, broke 5 ribs, and you don't even think about those things when you get on the horse. It's the same thing like going to a baseball game and you sit down with your hot dog and your Coke or your beer or whatever you're doing. You do not think that the guy standing there hitting the ball, when he swings that ball's going to come at you at 100 mile an hour and hit you and kill you. That's not in your mind, but it could happen. It's all possible, and the safety measures that we need to take and think about are so serious, but when that person comes into the ER, the OR, or wherever they're coming, it's life-changing, or it can be, or their life could end just going to something so simple as a baseball game like you were talking about with the deaths, and I've seen so many things happen. Like I said, my specialty was in the cardiac world, so I've seen so many life-changing things, but I did spend time in the ER, and I've seen things that, I can't really talk about, and things that were pretty unbelievable. But this right here, when I think of something so simple as just, because everybody says America, baseball is America's game, and you just think about it like apple pie, and you do not think about, "I'm gonna go down here and watch these guys play baseball, and I could sit back here and be killed." You do not think about that. It never enters your mind or the parents, and this is so awakening for me to even think about these things. I will always think about different at a baseball game now because I will strategically think about where I sit from now on, as everybody else should.
Unfortunately, we have the ability as a society to endorse where you should be sitting, but that practice has never been applied. And we hope that the right agencies will tell you that it's okay to be here today, but nobody really has. They've opened up the doors at your own peril. They have this thing called the baseball rule, which we never really got into today, which they've been under the shield in most states that if you get hit by a ball, they're not even going to be responsible. They'll retreat and they won't even pay your bills. But again, you shouldn't be in a position to be smashed, regardless of who's paying the bills. So there's been no incentive for them to deal with making it the right place for 3 hours because they know that part of doing business is people getting smashed and we'll be okay. We're going to survive. So if the regulators or the agencies finally get the memo and pay attention, there'll be a lot of action. And you'll finally be going to a game where there's integrity integrated into the game. There's no integrity in baseball, never was, because these are just greedy businesses that are just making a lot of money and doing and getting you in those seats at all costs through the kids, through the promotions, through the incentives. We need to do more and we'll continue doing it. I think this is a great discussion and constructive. And I think we can learn a lot about this matter. Please, everyone, go to Foul Ball Safety Now. Check out what we've been doing. We have a couple of investigations going on. There's a Queens College investigation. We wrote a letter in early September, a third letter, where the student athlete is under duress because he's worrying that one of him or one of his teammates are going to do some serious damage to the elementary school children. If you Google Earth, you'll see Queens College right next to an elementary school, and the student athletes are concerned. It's legitimate. So we hope that Queens College will deal with us sooner rather than later. But it's not just Queens College, it's the 169 professional ballparks where balls fly over sides. And I'm sure these other younger athletes, professional athletes, are thinking the same because they are certainly sharing with their own families where to sit inside and probably wondering, telling them not to walk out certain times outside either. So we need to have a discussion. Brendan and I have already spoken to more than 30 players, so we really do get a sense that they're thinking about it. And potentially we'll have a lot more than that because people are ready to, unload and unburden themselves because it is a dilemma for a human being to experience anxiety knowing they could be one of the people that hit a ball at a kid or anyone else. But we are in healthy aggression here, and we'll continue doing this again with our next guest. Robin, I want to thank you so much today. And Brianna, thank you again. And I guess we'll do it again soon, people.